It is Dr. Brandye. It's your girl. Come on in. Come on in. It's Wednesday. You know what it is. Happy hump day. We are hanging out today on this Wednesday. Oh man, how have you guys been doing? How was your day? I hope you had a good day. I had a good day. It was a somewhat restful day. You know, if you caught my live yesterday, the Talk About It Tuesday, you know, I got called in emergently for work. And, you know, it was super busy. There were a lot of babies being delivered yesterday. And so, yeah, I was a little tired today. So I kind of took it easy. But we're here. I couldn't leave you guys hanging, especially 2 weeks in a row, because last week we didn't have our show. So I wanted to make sure that I jumped on today so that we can chill. So if you joined us, go ahead and put hi in the comment section. Give me an emoji. Let me know who's hanging out with us tonight, because I always want to acknowledge you and tell you thank you and know who I'm hanging with. You know, they say you are the product of the 5 people who you spend the most time with. So, you know, I'm being aware of who I'm spending time with and acknowledging those people who are in my space and in my sphere. So if you are here, if you're joining me, go ahead and put a hi in the comment section so I can see that you're here and I know that you're here. All right. So by the title of tonight's live, you know, we are going to be talking about numbers, and it's going to be a different take on numbers, because, you know, we think about numbers in quite a few ways when it comes to sex. And so we're going to be talking about some numbers tonight. So I hope that you guys will enjoy it. I hope it's some good information that will help you to live your best sex life ever, because that's my purpose and that's my goal, is to help you to live your best sex life ever. Okay? Ever. So, with that being said, I'm going to jump right in. I'm going to introduce myself. If you're new, I'm Dr. Brandye. I am a board certified OBGYN, so I take care of the ladies. I am an Amazon #1 best-selling author of my book, My Oh My, A Committed Woman's Guide to Getting the Great Sex She Deserves. And thirdly, I am your sex and pleasure coach. And I teach women how to feel good in and out of the bedroom and how to get their sexy back. And that is so important, because I find that a lot of women don't embrace their sexual energy. They don't embrace sex at all. It's a chore. It's not something they enjoy. It's not something that they look forward to. It's this thing that they have to check off the list. And so my job, my passion, is to help to change that perception of sex and let you know that you are deserving of pleasure and that you can have it, and you don't have to do all kinds of crazy things to be able to have and enjoy more sex and more orgasms. So that's what I do. And that's what we talk about here on the Life Love Libido Show. So tonight we are going to be talking about the optimal frequency of sex, because that's one of the questions that I get when I'm talking to my clients who I coach, when I'm talking to my patients in the office. You know, if they are coming in and they're asking about sexual concerns, one of the things that comes up is, how often should I be having sex? And there's a couple different answers, and one of the answers, they try to get, like, literally quantify a number for how often it is happening. So they did this research study and they looked at people, these, I think it was like 20,000 couples, And, the happiest couples were having sex about once a week. They were, they averaged it out. They counted up the number of times that they had sex. It was about 52, 54 times in a year. So in 365 days, 52 to 54 times. So that averaged out to about once a week. So ideally, happy couples are having sex once a week. But that is not necessarily a hard and fast rule. But I will say, if you are not having a whole lot of sex, if you're in a committed relationship, you're married, what have you, and you guys are not having sex, like for long stretches of time, like I'm talking months, then maybe once a week is something to aim for or to strive for, depending on your situation. But ultimately, how often you have sex is really a combination of your own internal sexual desire and sex drive and your partner's internal sex drive. Because that's kind of the sticking point. Like, you can work around schedules, you can work around kids, you can work around some of the other things, but when it comes to just how often you want to connect, it really is a factor of how often you are thinking about and desiring sex and how often your partner is thinking about and desiring sex. And so if you don't know, you have everybody, every person, man, woman, whatever, every person has an innate sex frequency, or what I call the sex cycle. And with that sex cycle, you will have kind of a pattern. You'll have a pattern for how often you start to desire sex, how often you think about sex, you think about sexual fantasies and things of that sort. And so that's how you can kind of identify what your sex cycle is and how frequently you want to engage in sex. Hey Leo, good to see you. Welcome back. So glad you are able to join us again. So thank you, Leo, for jumping on. I think I saw Dr. Erica give some thumbs up. So thank you, Dr. Erica, for being here as well. So we're talking about the optimal sexual frequency, and we're talking specifically right now about your sex cycle and what that brings to the table. So for some people, their sex cycle is very, very frequent, every day, multiple times during the day. And for other people, it's a little less frequent, every couple days, every couple weeks, sometimes once a month. Especially like for women, sometimes it'll be around the time that you're ovulating in your cycle if you're still having a period. And that is actually an evolutionary thing, because if you are more interested in sex around the time of ovulation, that has to do with, the human race being propagated and us continuing to have babies and keep the human species going on this planet. So if nothing else, if you have no other sex drive around the time that you ovulate, you may notice that things get a little spicy, a little hot. So at least once a month, but some people have it more frequently. And so it's just hardwired in your brain. Like, there are certain things that you can do to modulate that, but you have kind of a baseline. This is my sex drive. And then whatever is happening in your world, stress, lots of stress, that will make your sex drive go down. If you are tired, if you're not getting enough rest, or if you are just doing a whole lot, which a lot of times that's what we do as women. We're doing a whole lot and we're not sleeping as much. That will make your sex drive go like that. Also, certain medications can cause your sex drive to go down, either through a direct effect on like your hormone levels, or they just make you feel so very tired or not feel good that it makes your sex drive go out the window. It's just gone. Relationship problems, any tensions, disappointments, hurts, unresolved conflicts, those will make your sex drive go away too. Part of that, well, actually for all of those except for the medicine, the fatigue, being not getting enough sleep, stress, relational issues, that has an impact on your innate sex drive. So there are a couple places in the brain that are super important for sex drive. One is just your what we call your hindbrain, and it's the older parts of your brain that developed evolutionarily sooner, and they are the ones that control your basic reflexes, your breathing, your heart beating, your eyes blinking, stuff like that. And then there's, pleasure centers that are in the kind of mid portion of the brain. And then you have what's called the newer portions of the brain, the neocortex. Then you got the frontal cortex there, the prefrontal cortex there. And there are structures there that actually influence what happens in that older part of your brain that is your baseline sex drive, and that part will say yay or nay, and it's kind of the gatekeeper. So picture this. Picture it, Sicily 1921. All right, for my Golden Girls aficionados. So you are feeling like, okay, maybe some things could happen. It might be, around the time where you're about to ovulate, some things can happen. Your partner could get this. And then you remember that they snapped at you this morning, or they gave you, a not as good kiss as you wanted, or they didn't do something that you asked them to do, or they just, they hurt your feelings. Something like that. That here in this front part of your brain will shut down anything going on. Like, yeah, no, they don't deserve it. They didn't treat me right. I'm not, we can't do it. We can't do it. It'll shut it all the way down. So you got to be careful about what happens when you and your boo or your bae have a disagreement, or there's some hurt or some disappointment and things like that. You can't let it fester, because that'll turn on that prefrontal cortex, that frontal cortex, and it'll totally just shut it down for a long time. So you can't have that unresolved conflict and unresolved stuff in your relationship. You got to talk it out. You got to do it. That adage, don't go to bed mad. Don't go to bed mad. You got to fix it. And if you can't fix it with just the two of you, then you may need to bring in a trusted friend, your pastor, a counselor, a therapist, somebody needs to come into the mix and help y'all figure it out, because it does have some other effects, including with sex. Although, once you guys get it together and you get it resolved, the makeup sex, right? The makeup sex. So go ahead and handle it so y'all can enjoy the makeup sex. And you can take out your frustrations with the makeup sex, okay? All right, so if you're just joining, we are talking about how the optimal frequency for sex, and it kind of morphed into some of the things that are barriers to desiring sex and wanting sex. And we were just talking about how to make sure that you are addressing those barriers so that you can have your best sex life, right? Right. Okay, so with that being said, once a week, give or take, is about how often the happiest couples did it. But if you find that you want sex more often and your partner is open to sex more often, then have sex more often. Why not? It's good for you. Can I tell you it's good for you? We've had these conversations before, but I gotta tell you it's good for you. So one, it decreases stress. So if you have a lot of stress, you don't have sex. And then if you're not having sex, your stress levels can go up too, right? And sex is, it's a good thing. It feels good, especially if it's done right. It feels good. And that feeling good not only decreases your stress, it also makes you have a more compassionate, empathetic, sympathetic existence. You have a more vibrant and passionate sex life. And then outside of the bedroom, it's more vibrant and passionate. Oh, hey, Sonia. Thank you for jumping on. She said, yep, sex makes you giddy. It can. It can. Although we'll have another conversation about this, how sex can bring out some other emotions, because there's some times where you have sex and it can actually, you cry instead of feeling all giddy. So there's some other things that sex can bring up. But yes, sex in general, when it's good sex and you're having good orgasms, it can make you giddy. Yes. But it also can lower your blood pressure. It helps you just to feel more calm. It can be a form of exercise. So just, depending on how active you are, especially if, you're on top, if you're the girl on top and you're doing some things, you can get some good exercise. You can work, your quads and all that stuff too, depending on what's going down. So it's great exercise. And it's just a great way to connect with your partner. So those are just some of the benefits for having sex and having it regularly. Oh, it also, you can live longer. It extends your life force. It extends your life if you're having good sex. And it doesn't matter, although tonight we're talking about having sex with a partner, the benefits of orgasm are not confined to you having sex with a partner. So if you are not partnered up right now, or if you have to be separated from your partner because of COVID, you can have solo play, self-play, masturbation, and have orgasms from that, and that actually still gives you those benefits. So you don't have to be left out loosey. You can do some things and still get the benefits of orgasm, even if you can't be with your partner or you don't have a partner. And we've talked before, this is a show for grown folks. We've talked before about your Bob, your battery operated boyfriend. If you don't have a partner, you can use those. And again, same benefits as if you were to have a partner. So don't sleep on those. Don't sleep on those. All right. So I hope this was helpful for you guys, just to have some ideas about, how often is best for sex. And I would say just as often as you want and your partner is willing, because there's really no downside. Like Sonia said, sex makes you giddy, so you get to be happy. Who doesn't want to be happy? Especially during, this time where things are just, they're still so uncertain and things are just kind of been crazy. So, have some sex, have fun. But there is a big but, because you still got to be safe. And what does that mean for now in this time of COVID? So there was some recent studies that came out to say, and there were some recent guidelines that came out too. So the studies came out and they said, okay, they were finding evidence of the virus in semen and in stool samples, so in your poop. So in semen and in poop. And we don't know if you can get this new coronavirus, the one that causes all the craziness, by the transfer of semen, or in transfer of semen with oral sex, vaginal sex. We don't know. We don't know if there can be transfer of the coronavirus, this new one, through anal sex. So you got to be careful. And I always tell you this anyway, but please use condoms for all sexual encounters, please, so that you don't get nothing. Please use condoms. Now, they're not 100%, but they are better than nothing. So please use condoms for all sexual encounters. Thank you very much. Thank you kindly. That's my PSA for tonight. But the second part of it is, you better be wearing a mask when you're having sex. Because when you're in the mix and in the middle of some stuff, you know how you get to breathing hard and panting and stuff like that. That is a perfect setup for COVID transmission. So masks on, please. And you may want to consider some alternate positions. Now, alternate positions I'm talking about are doggy style. So your partner coming from the back, entering from the back, doggy style. Because at least y'all not like this, right? One person's like this, one person's like this. Y'all facing this way, not facing each other. So, 1, doggy style. 2, second good position is reverse cowgirl. Again, y'all not facing each other this way. One partner is this way, and the head is up here, and the other partner is here, the girl is here, and y'all facing that way. Still have your masks on, but those are 2 good positions you can try so that you stay safe during this time. You don't get COVID because you was trying to get busy. Okay? All right, so don't say nobody didn't tell you. Dr. Brandye told you. Okay? Okay. All right. So, I hope that was helpful, guys. I hope it was a little fun. I'm trying to bring some comedy to the mix. I hope it was a little fun. I hope it was a little funny. But all jokes aside, all comedy aside, I want you to be able to enjoy sex and enjoy it safely. And as the gynecologist in me was, the PSA, please use condoms for all sexual encounters. All sexual encounters. But I also want you to be able to have fun. So that was our show for tonight. That's what I wanted to tell you guys. So once a week at least. If you want it more, talk about it with your partner. If you want it less, talk about it with your partner. And if you are noticing that you were fine and you were good, and then it just did like this, and you were like, I don't want it ever again, never ever, don't talk to me about it. I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you because we got some stuff to help. You don't have to stay there. I know some things to help you to get out of the slump and get back to fun, get back to having giddiness. Like Sonia said, get back to some giddiness. So schedule a strategy session with me. It's 20 minutes. Go to drbrandyeobgyn.com and get your strategy session and let's talk. It's sometimes it's just a simple little boop, little tweak and you're good to go. Sometimes it's a little more involved, but sometimes it's a simple tweak, doop, and you're done. Yep. So get on my schedule, 20 minutes, drbrandyeobgyn.com. All right, so I'm going to get out of here, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Happy hump day again. I hope you get to do some humping tonight, if not tonight, before the weekend. And definitely make sure that you come on back on Friday night. It will be our fifth Dr. Brandye After Dark. And it's going to be Friday night at 8:30, right here. Although I usually broadcast from the car because I have a teenager and she's very, very embarrassed to have her mom talking about sex. So I go down to the car sometimes, but we'll hook up. We'll talk. 8:30 Friday night. Okay? Hey, Laura, thanks for jumping on. Definitely go back, Laura, and watch the replay, because we are just wrapping up, but we were talking about the optimal frequency for sex. We ended up talking about how sex is important, how it makes you feel, the benefits of orgasm and all that stuff. So make sure you go back and watch the replay. And if you are catching this on the replay, definitely make sure you put hashtag replay in here, because I want to know who's checking us out, who's hanging with us, even if it's not right when we're live. Okay? All right, guys. So thank you for showing up and hanging out. Thank you, Leo. I might see you tomorrow, Leo, because I got to come up there. So I might stop by. So hopefully you'll be there. I'll stop by and see you. And thank you, Sonia, for coming on, and also Laura and Dr. Erica. All right. So I'm Dr. Brandye, board certified OBGYN, Amazon #1 best-selling author, and I am your sex and pleasure coach, and I teach you how to feel good in and out of the bedroom and how to get your sexy back. All right, so I will see you guys Friday night. Take care. Bye.